Yes, Virgilio Aguilar-Mendez is free. After an illegal terrorist stop where Mr. Mendez was apprehended, tased 6 times, where after a 6 to 7 minute struggle, Mr. Mendez was put in the back of a squad car, and then a few minutes later, the cop who made the illegal terrorist stop went down by natural causes. Clogged arteries, heart arrhythmia, out of shape. They decided to charge Mr. Mendez with aggravated manslaughter. But now he is free. This is how it started. Mr. Mendez is standing on a sidewalk, eating a taco, talking to his mother on the phone, minding his own business. This cop decided, this brown kid, 9 p.m. on a May evening in Florida, that's suspicious enough for me to do this.
Okay, why, when I was driving around, stop.
Eating.
Okay, but why did you get up and walk away?
Huh?
Why did you walk away? Because he doesn't have to do shit.
When you saw me, you got up and walked away. Why?
Yeah.
Why?
But you meet me here, you go for drinking.
This cop, one, should never have stopped. Should never have. There's absolutely nothing suspicious about Mr. Mendez. Absolutely zero. But I don't know. Maybe this cop decided, hey, I'm a big, strong man. This guy is 5'4", skinny. I want to be a bully.
Where are you staying?
Huh?
Where are you staying? Sleeping?
Yeah.
Here?
Yes.
Well, why aren't you eating inside?
So,
Because it's none of your damn business. That's why.
What?
I'm sorry, speaks.
Okay, I've got some comment. Okay, do you have any ID, an identification, license?
What?
ID, identification.
Yeah.
In the room?
Yeah.
Okay, what's your first name?
Huh?
Your first name.
I'm sorry, speaking.
Okay, do you have any weapons on you?
Huh?
You have any weapons on you?
No.
Well, you know what that is. Turn around, let me look.
No.
Turn around.
Yeah. Paul Farrell, thank you so much. It says, awesome that the trash charges was dropped. Now deport an illegal migrant, because if he wasn't in the US to begin with, it never would have happened. I have to correct you somewhat. Mr. Mendez, his case in the US immigration was pending. During that time, he is free to walk and do whatever he wants. Now, looking at the case, if take all of this away, take all of that terrorist stop away, he would probably have, there's a strong chance he would have been deported. I agree with that. But I also have to say, none of this would have happened if it wasn't for this frisky cop. But thank you so much, Paul. I appreciate you.
Turn around.
When Sergeant Kunovich attempts to search
There's no reason for him to search. And let's see if we have... Well, there's nothing more at this, but... Dun, dun, dun. Yeah. So, the cop, after everything is done, after the young man has been tased several times, they put him in the squad car. This cop goes to his squad car and drops. He had clogged arteries, heart arrhythmia, health issues. And then, once the paramedics get there, or something of the sort, I don't remember exactly, some jackass cop that says, it might have been fentanyl. Ooh. So they dose him with Narcan twice. This guy was having a heart attack, and they dosed him with Narcan. I don't know if there is claims that Narcan, if you don't have opioids, it does nothing, or at least it won't hurt. Yeah, but this man was having a heart attack. But the local sheriff went on a press conference and wild accusations, complete fabrications. Once everybody saw the body cam footage, it didn't comply with the written reports from the cops. The cops lied to cover it up. Luckily, there was body cam. But, I mean, where I am, it is close to 6 a.m. I woke up a couple of hours ago and I saw the news. This happened Friday afternoon. Let me get this up. Sorry, Mr. Jingles, you need to... State attorney dismisses charges against Virgilio Mendez, migrant accused of manslaughter in deputy's death. Aggravated manslaughter, I must add. Attorneys Jose Baez at the lectern and Phil Arroyo this afternoon during a press conference streamed on Instagram. Let's see if I can find it somewhere. Well, we can read here while I search for that. The state attorney's office today dropped the charges against Virgilio Mendez, who was arrested last May in St. Augustine over a dubious encounter with sheriff's deputies prompted by nothing apparent. That is an illegal Terry stop. Now they can't charge that cop because he dropped dead from natural causes, according to the medical examiner's report. Mendez, who does not speak English. This was determined in a court hearing in December. He really does not understand English. Several experts under oath testified to this. He really, a few recognizable words, that's it. And looking at the body cam footage, it is apparent for anybody sane with a normal functioning brain who isn't, that he really didn't understand. And he tried to make himself understood. He had a taco. talking to his mother on the sidewalk. Nothing illegal. The information went through. He is living nearby motel. At this time, the cop had no reason to do anything. He could have just sat back in the cop car, drove away, and then in a matter of hours or weeks, he would have dropped dead of natural causes anyway. But no, he chose the bad way. Mr. Mendez, who does not speak English, had been speaking with his mother by phone outside the motel where he was staying that evening when a deputy found his presence there on the sidewalk in front of the motel suspicious. He frisked Mendez, who resisted, and with the assistance of 4 other deputies, took him down and tased him 6 times. A short time later, the deputy, Michael Kunovich, died of a heart attack. The medical examiner ruled the death was of natural causes due to heart disease. Mendez was charged with resisting arrest and aggravated manslaughter. The first charge was murder. The first charge was murder. And then it went down to aggravated manslaughter. St. John's County Sheriff Robert Hardwick publicized the charges in a theatrical news conference where he was flanked by ranks of law enforcement. Yeah, it was bad. Mendez has been held at the Volusia branch jail since. The charges soon ignited public outrage, a petition that called for his release and a series of legal maneuvers on his behalf. And a good bunch of legal commentary channels, mine included. Me, Megan Fox, Jeff, Legal Vices, a lot of channels. A lot of channels. Yes, we'll call magic. Mr. Mendez is free. The state attorney decided to drop or dismiss all charges. At a hearing last December, Mendez was found incompetent to proceed, largely due to his intellectual disabilities, but was to remain at the Volusia jail pending a 90-day review, which was approaching. Less than 3 weeks ago, Jose Baez, a powerful and high-profile South Florida attorney, replaced Rosemary Peoples in representing Mendez. Peoples had done most of the heavy lifting in the case, essentially setting the table for Baez, who was representing Mendez with Orlando attorney Phil Arroyo, but there is no question that Baez's takeover was to St. John's the equivalent of Pershing landing in Europe 1917. Yeah, Rosemary Peoples fought well beyond anything anybody else would have done. She did amazing work. And it's almost sad that Mr. Baez had to step in to bring this even further. This should have been dropped the moment the body cam footage proved the cops were lying in their affidavits. That's when it should have happened. But we have to take the win where the wins are. And this is a win. This is a clear win. I mean, look, 5'4", 115 pounds, soaking wet. And it took 4 cops, 6 tasers. I mean, that, if anything, should tell everyone included, everyone here, the competency of the cops. 5'4", 115 pounds. Quote, recent expert testimony regarding the defendant's inability to comprehend the English language, his cultural background, and concerns about his intellectual capacity have raised significant issues to consider in their case. Brian Shorstein, the executive director at the state's attorney's office for the 7th Circuit, said in a written statement issued late this afternoon. So this is maybe 6 hours ago. Furthermore, quote, furthermore, based on the court's recent ruling that the defendant is incompetent to proceed based on that expert testimony, dismissal of the charges is appropriate. Arrest and time served is sufficient. Here I don't agree with the state attorney. Now this is a save face kind of thing for the state attorney. Because when he says this, that means he doesn't have to do anything about the illegal Terry stop. This is to avoid civil action, in my opinion. I have to sneeze. That's why I'm a bit silent. My apologies. It's one of these sneezes that is in the back of. Yeah, I'll try to manage. The case has been prosecuted by Assistant State Attorney Mark Johnson, who did a poor job. He should have seen this case, looked at the facts, and said, "Oh hell no! Oh hell no! No! Oh hell no! Not touching this." But political reasons, a lot of cops. I mean, yeah, pressure. The case had been prosecuted by Assistant State Attorney Mark Johnston. Shorstein's wording reflects the discomfort that the State Attorney's Office probably felt in prosecuting the case. Sure. As did Johnson's unusually restrained approach at the December hearing. It was not a position the State Attorney's Office relished. Circuit Judge R. Lee Smith appeared no less disquieted by the case. He brought on his own expert to prove that Mr. Mendez could stand trial. That was all that hearing was about. In my opinion, Mark Johnson was fully committed to prosecuting this. Quote, there are cases that come into your life that are more causes than there are cases. This is a perfect example of what a case actually is, end quote, Baez said, speaking this afternoon at a press conference at the Guatemalan Mayan Center in Lake Worth Beach. Mendez is from a Mayan tribe in Guatemala, speaking a language known as Maam, which less than 500,000 people speak. Baez described... Oh, look! The article has Dave's. The article has Dave's YouTube about the full body cam video. Nice. I hope he gets paid for it. I didn't know that. I haven't read all of this yet. I have to. Where were we? Baez described Mendez as a polite young man, quote, really a boy, end quote, and, quote, the way he had been treated was disgusting. End quote, I agree. He has described the open dialogue he had with the state attorney R.J. Larissa, on whom he lavished compliments. However, quote, however, I don't have such kind words for the Sheriff Hardwick, end quote, Bias said. I think some of the public statement that he's made and the culture that he has created at the St. John's Sheriff's Department are nothing less than shameful. I completely agree. Sheriff Hardwick tried to cover for a cop he knew did an illegal Terry stop. I can guarantee that almost guarantee, in my opinion, I have to add that the reason the written reports and statements from the cops were the way they were is because of the directions. He was covering his own ass. He was covering for the bad cop, which means Sheriff Hardwick is a bad cop running a bad office, in my opinion. Bias was referring to the sheriff's references to Mendez' status and the profiling of that evening, and to what he termed as the sheriff's lie that Mendez was going to use a knife. Exactly. The sheriff went public and lied. Hey, Dave's video. Quote, I'm a Hispanic lawyer, first and foremost, and as a Hispanic person, Bias said, to see my people being treated in such a manner, the profile treated as less than human, is nothing short than disgusting. And it's not only limited to Hispanics. It's also limited to any and all minorities, because everyone is unfortunately capable of receiving this type of discrimination, this type of treatment, to the point where it becomes complicit and evil. Now he is going into a political speech here, but also, I would assume, in preparation for a possible civil suit. He then describes the events of that evening in explicit terms. A boy had to be grabbed, thrown to the ground, placed in a chokehold, tased multiple times, corralled like an animal, and then have a police officer who weighs over 200 pounds place their knee on top of his neck. One would think we can the George Floyd thing. Bias said that the state attorney's office took an objective approach to the case and realized, quote, they couldn't prove it. These charges are not sustainable. Chiefly, there had been no underlying reason for Mendez questioning to start with. This was a clear case of profiling, as well as a case of outright discrimination, as well as a case where these police officers didn't even care to try and communicate, Bias said, noting that as far as the sheriff's office in St. John's was concerned, nothing more would be done. Bias said he was prepared to make it a big case, drawing on Scott Budnick of the Anti-Recidivism Coalition. And, Kim Kardashian was involved. I didn't know that. Hey, how about that? What about that? Atheist Ant. Gotta remember, no, not all US cops are bad. I know, not all US cops are bad. I know that, everybody knows that. Then you have bad cops, then you have then you have other cops who cover for the bad cops, and then you have this sheriff who, in my opinion, probably coerced the cops into writing false statements, and then went out and lied to the public. Yeah. Kim Kardashian, who had helped publicize the case through social media, with others lining up, quote, this was going to be a community effort, a national effort, international, hey, I'm over here, and I was going to bang that drum as loud as I possibly could, Bias said. We were going to ensure that the world was watching. We were on. From a grifting standpoint, it would have been good, but if justice is served, there are millions of other cases, and I'm doing the Young Thug trial, and that keeps me busy. But I mean, this would have been an enormous trial with all eyes. And I do believe the state attorney's office realized once Mr. Baez got involved, holy crap, I need to change my pants because somebody take a shit in my pants. Let's dismiss the charges. That is my interpretation. Where were we? It isn't entirely clear what happens to Mendez next, other than what should have been his immediate release from the county jail. But he has a hold from federal immigration officials, which Baez and Arroyo are in the process of filing a motion to withdraw it, since the hold is the result of their arrest in St. Johns County. With that case entirely dismissed, there is no reason for the hold. Yes, U.S. immigrations are having a case and have been for a good while for Mr. Mendez. Is he in the country illegally? The immigration's office have not determined that yet. Federal authorities had released Mendez when he was 17, at a time when he crossed into the country illegally, eventually placing him with family in Alabama and allowing him to work as long as he kept to his court dates on his refugee status. Okay, so he came into the United States illegally, but he still had the case up. Okay. So, quote, so there's absolutely no reason for them to keep him or to detain him in any way, shape, or form. He's not a danger to the community, Baez said. The Guatemalan Mayan Center, one of whose official testified on Mendez's behalf in December, will join Baez when Mendez is picked up from jail and will be given a place to stay and given means to get started, quote, so we can see what happens next in his life. I think we're all going to be a part of that, end quote. Baez said he would not use the word compensate, the intention being only to make things right. He dismissed the notion that Mendez would or could win a lawsuit and reap millions. I don't think that is in the books. Nanya Bitner says the state should write a check, not millions, maybe 100,000, and then turning him over to ICE. Yeah. And I mean, even 50 grand. 25 grand then on an airplane back to Guatemala. 25 grand in Guatemala can feed a village for years. So, yeah. Everyone thinks, oh boy, he's going to be cashing in millions. Nothing could be further from the truth, the attorney said. These types of cases are incredibly difficult to prosecute, to file lawsuits on. It's not an uphill battle, it's climbing Mount Everest. That's why the abuse and profiling has to stop, because there is no recourse. He said there was a language barrier with Mendez, but there's no barrier of the heart. And you can sense it, see it in his eyes, hear it in his voice. You don't have to understand the words, and you know that this man is incredibly grateful. And that was the end of that article. Yes, so Mr. Mendez is free. Well, he will probably be released Monday after the weekend into the hands of the Mayan Center and Mr. Baez. And then we will just have to wait and see what happens next. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets deported with a check of 25 to 50 grand. Mark Pugner, he become a target with too much money. Yeah, that too. That's true. Yeah, okay, but it's a win. Mr. Mendez will be released. No charges, all charges dropped. And a win is a win. It should never have happened. He said, remember, he was on the sidewalk, having a taco, talking to his mother on the phone. That was enough for the crooked cop to do an illegal Terry stop. I'm happy for him, but it should never have happened. So remember that if any similar case shows up, assume it's an illegal Terry stop until evidence says otherwise. It's in your constitution. Innocent unless proven guilty. All right. That was my half hour. I have to get back on the farm. Later today, my time. Tomorrow, your time. Noon, Jodi Arias. And it's not trial we are going through. It is Jodi Arias' manifesto. In case I get famous, we are going to read from. Yes, Jodi Arias had a manifesto. And we will read from that at noon Eastern time, 6 p.m. Swedish time. And after that, it is Serial Killer Saturday with Eileen Warnes, the Florida-based serial killer. We are mid-trial and we are listening to more evidence. Okay, that's it for me. And let me end with what I usually end with. Hug your family. Unless your family is crap, then screw them and give your love to the people who deserve it. Okay, thank you for showing up. Bye-bye.